Hi there guys, today we're going to have a look at how to sketch some more complicated cubic graphs. So, for example this one here, which looking at this bit which I've underlined and it has the squared, you need to know that this is exactly the same. And this automatically doesn't look like a normal one. So if we were to solve this, so to find, let me just make a quick sketch. To find where it crosses this x-axis, the y-coordinate is always 0. So if you put the y to 0, we will get, I'll just rewrite it all. Which is technically saying 0 is equal to 1 take away x, twice. And 0 is equal to 3 plus x. So x must be equal to, sorry about that. There you go. So x must be equal to 1 twice. So that should tell you something about the graph already. And x is equal to minus 3. So what we're going to have here, now I'm just going to rub out that line and redraw it, and hopefully it doesn't look too bad. There you go, it's a bit better. There we go. So we're going to have minus 3, and we've also got a 1. Now, if we put the x coordinates to be 0, that's going to tell us the y coordinate, because all along this line here, the y values, sorry, or the x values are 0. So if we make this first bracket here, x to be 0, we have 1. And the same here is 1. And if x is 0 here, we have 3. So the y coordinate is going to be 1 times 1 times 3, which is, of course, 3. So this is what we have. Now if we're going to sketch this, let's just double check what it's going to look like. So it's a minus x times a negative x, or minus times a minus. It's positive x squared times another one, that is x cubed. So we're going to be starting in our bottom left. Now it's got to hit there. I know it's going to come above this point and it's going to come down, and it's not going to go through it because where we have the same root twice, just like our quadratics were. So it's going to hit that and then go back up. Now the reason I know it's going to go past and a bit higher than this and not peak here is because of the symmetry. There's 4 spaces. It's going to have to peak somewhere in the middle, like that. So this is the sort of graph we're looking for. Now you'll notice that this one here is not in its factorized form, so that is what we're going to have to do. Now at this stage we're going to be pretty kind to you, and you're always going to be able to factorize something basic like this. So if we take an x outside, this will give me that. Now when you look at this, you should recognize that you can factorize this pretty easy. So the factors are 3. We've only got one option because it's a prime number. But how do you make a minus 2? So it's going to be, there we go, minus 3 plus 1. So if we were to solve this, we'd have x is 0, x is equal to 3, and x is equal to minus 1. So let's make a sketch down here. Ugh, that's a horrible line. So minus 1, so it's going to be there, there, and 3. So you can see I'm trying to make it look 3 times the distance there. It's a sketch, but you can have some degree of accuracy to it. Okay, so let's work out where it's going to cross the y-axis here. We do that by putting x to be 0. So we've got 0. 0 take away 3 is minus 3, and 0 plus 1 is 1. So this is going to tell me my y coordinate. But this is, if you didn't see that, I popped it in this part here. X to be 0 for each of these. But anything times 0 is 0. So we've got a y-intercept at this point here too. Now it's x cubed. That's easy because it tells us there. So it's going to start in the bottom left. It's going to come up, through, and there we go. Remember, trying to peak in a symmetrical point. Let's try another one. So if you got that last one, why not pause it now? see what you can do with this one. And if you're ready, here we go. So we're going to factorize for x, giving me this. Now this looks slightly different, but you should know this really. This is called the difference, factorizing by the difference of two squares. It's the same as this. So what are the factors of 4 that you can make 0 from? It has to be 2 and 2. And it's called the difference between two squares because that's a square number and that's a square number. So that's 1 plus and that's 1 minus, and that's how we will achieve this 0x. So let's solve it. Let's get rid of that, put it equal to 0. So x is equal to 0, x is equal to minus 2, and x is equal to 2. Let's make a sketch. So x and y, we've got minus 2 and plus 2. Okay, so if, like before, if we put all these x's to be 0, so I'm using this line, so 0 times 0 plus 2, but that's going to be 2. 0 take away 2 is minus 2, but like I said previously, anything times by 0, it's just going to be 0. So it's going to meet there. And it's x cubed, so we know it's starting in the bottom left. So here we go. So we're going to go up, down, and through. Last one. So here we're going to do exactly the same again. So why not pause it again and see if you can get this right. So x squared minus 16x. Now, yes, this is a square number, but this part isn't. This is just a one dimension. So we cannot use the factorizing by completing the difference between two squares. Sorry. So the only option I have is to take an x outside of the bracket of this. So that would leave me with x. So x times x is x squared minus 16 there. So if we were to solve this, we would have x to be 0 twice and x to be 16. So it's going to go a long way. If we wanted to find the y-axis, we would use this and put x to 0. So it would be 0 times minus 16, which is of course 0. So it just so happens all of these have a y-intercept of 0, but you're definitely going to have to do a bit more checking than that. Okay, so there's 16 on my x. I've got the two zeros. There's my y. So it's x cubed, so we're going to start in the bottom left. Because these are the same, it means we're just going to go up and touch this. It's going to come quite a long way down and come up. So that is sketching cubic graphs, but when you have to factorize first. But they're all pretty much the same, so go ahead and practice these now. Good luck.